Well, today I am joined by Nicolas Babin again, and he will, as usual, share some fantastic information. And if you don't know who he is, he's an expert in digital technologies, and he's just recently been interviewed by the French media about this very subject that we're going to talk about, Google and Apple. And is this the end of privacy as we know it? Welcome, Nicolas.
Thank you, Nat. Great to be on the show again. Love it.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So, I know we're in a crisis right now, and we need to have a balance between privacy and safety, right? But I mean, for the people that don't really know, what's going on, Google and Apple have launched a partnership whereby they're going to use their technologies to help fight this pandemic, right? So it's in two phases. Phase one is you're going to download an app and they're going to use Bluetooth technology to share your locations, but it's not the same as GPS. Can you kind of elaborate, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, the first step that will be launched around mid-May is using what we call BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy Technology, which is a Bluetooth technology, but only shares some anonymous keys. So it's not GPS because it's not static personal key where it would say, for example, Nicolas Babin is located out of France, Bordeaux, south of Bordeaux. I mean, very precise location. Here, it's only an anonymous key that will allow exchange of information between two cell phones or mobile phones, as we would say in Europe.
Okay. So you don't think there's any sort of risk here with regards to privacy because of the methodology that they're using, or?
Because of two things. Number one, the methodology they're using, and number two is the fact that it's during this crisis, and the fact that there will be no available central list that people can go and check, because this technology, this anonymous key is going to be changing every 15 minutes. So it's a rolling key in order to make sure that nobody gets hold of it and that you'll see that this key belongs to Mr. So-and-so. That will not happen. That is not possible with this BLE technology. So these two elements, and also, Google and Apple cannot afford today to have this problem of privacy because they've been really good at the beginning. They were really bad because they allowed a lot of things happening, and of course, these two companies, they're not 100%. They don't own 100% of the market, because you have also some other technologies around in China and things like that do not use either of these two technologies, but they pretty much reach over 90% of the world population. And of course, today, using your mobile phone, you can get everything you do. I mean, Google tracks your Google activity, but you also have a way to stop that. If you go to your Google account, Google activity, and you make sure that you're not followed, or you delete all your history, then there's no way you could be found. I mean, still, you're recorded, and I don't want to be naive about this. I know that the data is somewhere, definitely, but regulations, especially European regulations, GRDP and all these things, and also all the independent bodies that we have around the world, ensure that at least your data privacy is protected. One thing you said at the beginning, which is extremely important, is we're in a phase of the world that we have nobody else has known before. We're in a crisis. COVID-19 is lethal. We need to fight this until we find a vaccine or a cure for this virus. At this stage, the importance is to say, well, during this time until a vaccine is found, I'm allowing my privacy to be, and again, it's what I want to say is the privacy. I'm not sure it's at risk. but I'm allowing a little window that, well, maybe, some data is going to leak and some data will go into a database, which I don't believe at all. But I'm prepared to allow this in order to fight this virus. The most important thing today is to make sure that this new norm during this virus doesn't become the norm once the virus is killed, or once we found a cure against this virus, which is really important. If today I'm allowing Google and Apple to share a little bit more about me, meaning I have met somebody, or I've been in a room with somebody who has the virus and who has voluntarily declared that he has the virus. Well, today I'm going to allow that to happen, knowing that as soon as a vaccine is found, we go back to where we were before the virus came alive, if I could say. So that's the most important thing that we all need to realize.
Yeah, I mean, Edward Snowden, he's the guy that ran away because he's being chased by the US government, right, for giving away secrets. But he's basically saying that governments could use the data collection powers much longer than the pandemic itself. Yeah. He seems to think it's going to help with increased surveillance, erosion of civil liberties, etc., right? Specifically, he's talking about states might demand access to people's health data, such as their heart rate from wearables, etc., right? So,
well,
yeah, I mean,
if I could say just one thing, to be honest with you, today, before even the virus was alive, this was possible because Google knows everything. You do a search on Google about diabetes, then there's a high chance you or somebody very close to you has diabetes. You do a search about cancer, same thing happens. So Google pretty much knows everything. So what he's saying today is not relevant, to be honest with you, with the COVID-19 element and what Google and Apple are doing. It's not relevant because that anonymous key working on that BLE technology is really anonymous. And there will be no cross-reference of that key being linked to another key, meaning that there'll be no database of that interaction. And that's the most important thing today. We're allowing a technology to basically say, yes, I was close to this person, but it's not me, Nicolas, it's XXX, but XXX is going to be linked to my phone number. But it's just for a very short period of time. And I want to know, frankly, I want to know that I was for half an hour in a room with somebody who's now declared himself with COVID-19, because one, I'm going to protect my family, and two, I'm going to protect myself. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We're in a phase of the world that we've not seen ever before. So at this stage, we need to be a little bit more flexible about what we're allowing or what we're seeing with this new technology.
Yeah, well, I think also if we actually looked at all the apps that we've given access to our data to in the first place anyway, I think people probably have a heart attack. You'd actually have a heart attack from the stress because you've given away everything anyway. I mean, however, that's another conversation, right? But I know Israel has been granted its spy services emergency powers to hack phones without a warrant. South Korea has been sending text alerts if they've been into contact with people, coronavirus patients. Singapore is using a smartphone app. Poland as well, which is interesting. They had a fantastic response to this as well in the early days of the virus. And Taiwan's introduced an electronic fence system that alerts the police if quarantined patients move outside their homes. Well, so it should. I mean, how dare you leave your home and go and infect other people? You should be ashamed of yourself, really.
The virus is not capable of living outside human body, right? So it's the human body that's the link to humanity being sick. Mm. So it's not, like a piece of, when AIDS was around, we knew it came from sperm or from blood, or, this is very specific. I mean, you could kiss somebody with AIDS and not catch AIDS, right? True. Whereas here, the virus only lives because of the fact that people don't follow confinement.
Yeah.
Right. And so I totally agree with you. Yes, so be it. Yeah, you should not leave your compound. You should not leave your house. You should not leave your apartment. And make sure at least you follow the rules. And the World Health Organization has been very clear about this from the beginning. I think. Sorry, I'm switching back and forth. But one thing that's very important here is to realize that actually this issue probably comes also from the fact that people do not trust their governments. Because, for example, in France, we've had from the beginning saying we don't need masks. I've lived a long time in Japan. As soon as you have a cold in Japan, you wear a mask for just respect for others.
Yeah.
In France, no, we don't need masks. Where all the other countries in the world say we do need masks. You had big professors, big doctors saying, no, masks don't help. Well, actually, what happened is that we didn't have enough masks. So what happened? The government said we don't need masks. Well, now they're saying masks are very important, and we're going to make sure by May 11th, every French person has a mask, right? Yeah. So there's a distrust, and at this stage, we believe that because technology is brought on by our government, that we should not trust technology. But if technology is there to help us and to ensure we optimize our protection, then I believe we should put aside the fact that we don't trust our governments around the world, because it's pretty much a human nature to just never trust somebody who's in charge, your boss or your government.
True.
But just really think about what we're trying to achieve here. I've been talking about AI since 1996 when I started with Sony about robots and AI, and at the time, it was an Aibo, a robot dog, and it was pretty straightforward. He recognized some faces, but we could not really put an app behind the AI. Today, we have a perfect opportunity to say, look at what AI is doing. AI is computing so much data right now to find a cure, and also to see what's going to happen to this virus and how it can evolve. We're not competing with human brain here, because the volume of data and the speed of data that's been used is just unbelievable. So at least for once in history, we have technology that is around to help us. Whether you have the two largest companies in the world, Apple and Google, working together, which is unheard of. And on the other side, you have a technology which is coming to maturity and helping humanity to fight the biggest threat we've had since Second World War, pretty much.
Very true.
The biggest issue today is that you don't see this virus. So you feel we're at war, you cannot leave home, but you don't hear airplanes, you don't hear bombs coming and everything. And this is why it's even more scary for people. It's because this disease is we don't know where it is, and we don't know who has it. That's where technology comes in and helps us to survive.
Yeah. I mean, I've been giving a lot of thought to the actual data that we're in a crisis, right? But it comes back to data quality. Yeah. Because okay. So we're going to have this app, we're going to have location-based data, we're going to have these things, and we're going to be able to use that data to stop the spread, right? But the thing is that we actually don't really have a ubiquitous, straightforward monitoring of data quality right now. So within where we're at, we've got, for example, when reporting infections and deaths, we in the UK and the US, we're not reporting retirement homes, nursing and private homes deaths. That
was
no, I think France is reporting everything actually.
Now, but at the beginning for about a month, we only had hospitals.
So this is our major problem: is we're not reporting on a level playing field. So that's going to be a big problem, I think, moving forwards. I think we need to firstly do that.
Transparency is key.
Completely.
This is why you don't trust your government. because there's no transparency. That's exactly back to my point.
Exactly. So with phase 2 of this this rollout of with Google and Apple, right? They're going to build it into the operating systems,
Correct.
and all of the features are going to be opt-in, right? There's not going to be you're not going to be pushed into it and have to opt out. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. It's like today, if you don't want to use GPS, you just have to slide the little key saying off or on. That will be exactly the same, and that will be around mid-June that they will launch that within the OS.
Okay, well that's very good for the people who are really scared of being tracked and traced and everything else, right? Yep. But at the end of the day, you want to live, right? And you want to help other people to live long lives, and opting into this is a great thing. Yeah. The major problems that we also have are, okay. So I've been doing a bit of research on this. I'm going to drop a load of links in the bottom of this. I know you're well versed in what we're going to talk about right now. Yeah. And so, all right, we've basically got, so let's look at the big picture, right? We've got data, we've got location-based data, and we've got hotspots. Yeah. So now we've analyzed where these people are. Is it going to be like a self-managed thing, or is it going to be? So let me give you a scenario. Let's say that John down the road, he's got coronavirus, right? And he's probably sat next to this lady in the park, and then for some reason they both have been around a number of other people, and those other people, so who's going to notify those people? How is that kind of going to work?
It's basically the Google, Apple, Android, or iOS that will basically see that anonymous key has clicked between two people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first person will say, I have COVID-19. Then number one person will have a message automatically, like you get an SMS message, text message saying you've been close to somebody, but they won't tell you it was John down the road.
No.
They'll just say, you've been around somebody who has just declared himself COVID-19 affected, and that's it. Then if that same person becomes ill again, then the other people that he or she would have been around for, we can, based on what the World Health Organization is going to say, we can say, either a week or 10 days before, whatever that's going to be, you can parameter that. And based on that, the other people who have been in contact with even the second person will also get a message saying somebody else has declared himself, please quarantine yourself.
Got you. So, but we still have the problem of, I was doing some reading earlier. Been reading, MIT Technology Review, all sorts of things. There's so many articles, and I'll drop a load of links in the bottom if anyone wants to research this in greater detail.
Yeah.
But what was very interesting is that, let me just see what this lady said. So, Stacey Gray is the senior counsel for the Future of Privacy Forum. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other day she told lawmakers, this is on Thursday before this was launched, she said it could leave out some of the most vulnerable segments of the population. Yeah. Including underrepresentation of the elderly, very young or lowest income people who do not own cell phones, right? Or people who don't own cell phones for other reasons, like religious grounds or whatever, right? So that's one issue that she raised, and I don't think there's anything we can do about that, right?
At least here we're gonna make sure that the largest majority of people are going to be reached. She's absolutely right. People in Africa don't have access to mobile phones, most of them. It depends where in Africa, but a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
Then it will be the old methodology of being sure that you say you've been ill, and then the doctor being able to check who you've been in contact with.
Yes.
Which is pretty much what we've been doing now.
Well, we've been doing it for hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years, absolutely. Here we're just using technology where it exists. You know, it was like before the time of the Second World War. I heard my grandparents mentioning that, saying, you know, they were trying to tell people through television that, you know, there was an issue, whatever. Well, majority of people didn't have television at the time. So
Yeah,
how do you do that? You do that on radio, but then the Germans would, you know, do something with the radio waves, and so you could not hear it well, or it was. So what would they do? They will have sirens in
of
town,
course.
you know, and that's how it would happen. So technology evolves from, you know, even the First World War, sirens still existed at the time, but the sirens were the church bells.
Of course.
And so only people around churches would listen to it, you know, and other people didn't know what was going to happen. Second World War, we used sirens, so the whole town would know. Now we're using technology that makes sure that the whole planet knows, except some small areas where they don't have technology. But I have to say that big companies, again, like Google or Apple, are investing a lot of money to make like balloons, internet available. So you know, they launch balloons in the atmosphere and make sure that at least it goes around countries that do not have the infrastructure for internet. So these big companies, I know, I hear everything about them, Big Brother, and they're terrible and everything, but they are doing their best,
Yeah.
frankly, to help us fight this. And they're giving millions today, if not billions, to ensure that at least doctors progress to get a quick vaccine. Once we have a vaccine, all this will go away because we won't have to worry about it. And the nice thing about it is that we will be ready for the next one, because number
Yes.
one, AI is already checking, you know, now that we have data from COVID, AI is capable of doing a model that will check where and when the next big pandemic will come. And so
Yes.
we'll be much more prepared. Whereas on this one, we're not prepared. It's the first time, you know. I have a great uncle who just died. He was 103. He had the Spanish flu in 1918. I mean, just unbelievable. Unfortunately, he died just before this pandemic.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
he was telling me, you know, he had it. He had it himself. My grandfather, his brother, had it himself. They survived it. They had no idea what's coming. Suddenly,
Of
the whole
course.
family got ill. We're already, you know, 100 years down the line. We know more. We know that it's coming. We know that it's around. We know what to do to protect ourselves. So what here I'm just saying is, yes, we need to be very careful, and I will always repeat that. Our privacy is the main issue today, because technology allows a lot of things. But in this crisis, please be a little bit more flexible in order to kill this pandemic. That's our number one priority: our health and our family's health.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. I mean, I've made a few notes over here. So I also, you know, we're both very well aware of cybersecurity. We're both aware, and the audience as well, that, you know, there can be bad malicious actors who can take advantage of vulnerabilities and blah blah blah. Yeah, but the thing is that with Google and Apple actually doing that, and actually tying this to mobile phone devices, do you think that that's going to make any difference to this or not?
In the sense of
In the
what?
sense that they could scale up and fake botnets using like spoofed identifiers, sending altered data to the tracker's servers. I mean, that's what this lady, no, this guy Will Strafak, he's the CEO of mobile security company Guardian over in America, I think, and that's what he's saying, because. And the reason he's saying that is because it could affect government policy. Yeah. So malicious actors can take advantage of this, and then they can go and they could bribe the government and say, well, you either pay us 10 million, 20 million, $50 million, or we're going to mess up your entire program by gearing up these malicious bot activities, faking results, right?
Yeah, that it's always a possibility, but you know, I like Google Cloud technology, and I'm very involved with Google Cloud technology.
Yeah.
And you have the largest company on the planet, Apple and Google, in terms of valorization and the amount of money they represent, and they have put all their technology, they've put all their money, all their resources into making sure that at least their infrastructure is safe, right? it's true. The risk, the zero, having no risk is not an option, because you always have somebody. Google today pays hackers to to challenge them and make sure that at least if a hacker manages to get inside a Google infrastructure, then he gets a big amount of money. I think they were talking about $1 million or something like that. These guys are investing. They're very serious about it. I agree. It's Big Brother. I agree. They are the basic of everything. When I first started working, as you can see, I'm not that young anymore, but Microsoft was the center of everything, and people starting to worry about Microsoft because they had MS-DOS, and MS-DOS could, you never know. This is new technology and everything. So yes, I agree. It could have happened and everything, but we haven't seen any evidence of that. Today, we know that, of course, you have hackers who are extremely smart. You have countries that develop that hacking mentality and make sure that at least they can check an election. I mean, I'm trying to find the proper words, but in some countries you have huge problems because some foreign countries, even in France, there are claims that foreign countries have entered into an election process and done some things. So yes, everything is possible. But what I'm saying here is that I think we need to take a little bit of a risk in order to kill that pandemic. And then after that, Google has so much money, and Apple saying that they are going to reinvent themselves all the time and make sure that at least that technology is becoming safer and safer. And every time there's a breach, and I see a lot of breaches today, French hospitals, they are fighting this virus, and you have people, hackers, who go into their systems. Data, because they know they are not busy monitoring their system, they are busy saving lives. I mean, again, it's about respect, it's about values, it's about all these things. And some people, of course, do these type of things. But I do believe that at least if you have Apple and Google involved in this is the safest bet you can get today.
Right. Yeah. I mean, making data available to public authorities is obviously a fantastic thing, right?
Yeah.
But so this data, it's not going to be available to them, is it? It's going to be run by Google and Apple, who are basically saying, well, unless you download a specific app based upon your location, because I know that. Let me see. So South Koreans exposed to the virus were told they had to download an app, so they can be monitored during self-quarantine, right? And Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, Kerala, India have done amazing things, and some of them have done these things because of the SARS outbreak in 2003, right? So the government isn't going to get this data. Well, that's good, yeah. But so moving forwards, this ties into the conversation that we had the other day on e-health, yeah. So it's going to be very, very useful for people to get these smart thermometers, yeah. And I've been looking for one, right? And I heard that you could buy one that you could put on the back of your iWatch, yeah. So it's actually a thermometer that goes on your strap, and integrates with Apple, yeah. But I can't find one, and I've been looking on Amazon and I can't find one. If anyone's making these thermometers, right, for your watch, then why haven't we got them on Amazon? Like, come on, guys, what's going on?
In Europe, it's not allowed yet. I guess I have absolutely no idea. I've read about this. You have a lot of companies working on them. You have also Samsung watches that can monitor your EKG. But for example, it's available in the US and Canada, not in Europe. I have the Samsung watch. My son in Montreal has the Samsung watch. He has EKG on his watch. I supposedly have it, but the European countries have blocked it, right? So
wow,
maybe it's the same thing. I don't know.
Wow. I mean, I have an ECG on my watch, right? And it measures my heartbeat, yeah, and it does that all day, yeah.
Yeah, heartbeat, it's one thing. What I'm talking about is the proper EKG when you're, with the the sinusoidal curve, that the proper thing, that actually when you go to hospital and they put all these sensors on you, and after that they get this report on a piece of paper and they can see how your heart is doing. So this heartbeat, I have it as well. But actually the Samsung Watch goes further, and it's a medical device. It's class 2B medical device, which really is like a doctor tool. But it's not available in Europe yet. Maybe in the UK, because you guys are not Europe anymore.
Well, I got my iWatch 5 when I was in America. Is it a 5 or a 6? The latest one. I think it's 6. 5 or 6.
Android side.
Last September. Well, I love my iPhone and my iWatch and stuff, right? But the thing is, the future of all of this is leading us. It's leading us into more monitoring of our health. Yeah, it's more self-diagnosis, self-care, and awareness of diseases. Yeah, and problems. Right. I mean, I've got an interview booked with someone who works in, I think he's in Manchester. He's a let me just check what his name is. He's actually, Nasir Ahmad. Yeah. And he's a vascular surgeon, right? Director of Manchester Amputation Reduction Strategy, right? Yeah. So what's very interesting is what they're doing with Oracle technology, with the AI, is they're actually analyzing images, and they're using those images to work out whether that leg or arm or whatever needs to be amputated. And they've reduced amputations like massively, right? So I think it's quite amazing. Like we've got the next few years are going to be quite amazing, because we're going to be able to analyze diseases, and skin conditions and all sorts of things from your mobile phone camera, right? You're probably not even going to need to go to a doctor's office, because once they've got that data and they've crunched that data, right, it will give you a diagnosis, and then the doctor will probably send you a prescription which comes to your phone, and then you go to the chemist, or the pharmacy, right?
Even better, with now 5G technology, you have so much bandwidth that doctors in London will be able to operate on someone in Africa. This is where, after that, even look today in this crisis, do you want to go to your GP's office and wait in the room with people with COVID? I don't. I'm very happy. Tomorrow morning, I have a call with my GP, just regular checkup, but I'm doing it over a video conference. And I'm so happy. So yes, it's true. As you said, Zoom technology, somebody could see that I'm talking to my GP, and somebody could hear why I'm talking to my GP. Frankly, I'd much rather that today than going to our office and getting COVID. So it's always a question of priority. What's your priority today? Very
true. And what are you willing to give up? Because you're going to give up something, right? I mean, I downloaded this app. I was talking about privacy the other day, and I downloaded this app called Jumbo. Have you heard of Jumbo?
Oh, yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah. And it's really cool, right? And it goes out on the internet, and you give it access to some of your sites that you like Facebook and Twitter and Gmail and YouTube, and it goes out there and it actually removes your search criteria. It's stuff that you've searched for, so then advertisers can't track you, right? So do you think moving forwards, these kind of apps like Jumbo are going to be able to like remove data that you've given out into the world?
Definitely. But again, we're talking about two different things here. You're talking about advertising, which is a nuisance as far as we're concerned. Very important as a marketing director, the company, because he needs to know more about his or her customers. So definitely very important. But as far as human being is concerned, I make a huge difference between COVID-19 and a stupid ad coming into my phone because I've given out data. I have to be honest with you. I've been in advertising my whole life. I'm in digital. I always block as much as I can using Google technology, using all the technologies I can find. I block because I don't want to be bothered, you know,
Yeah.
with my health. Hell yeah, do I want to be bothered? It's like,
Right.
please tell me when something is wrong. So at least, you know, the sooner I can find a cure, the better. I mean, cancer, if you wait too long, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
So you want to know quickly. So yes, you're going to give up maybe, and on top of it, it's maybe you're going to give up something that there's a potential that Google, Apple are going to hear something about you. But on the other hand, you're going to be cured. What do you want?
Well, exactly. So,
as we say in the US.
so, you know, I was reading something the other day that it's only actually a third of the world's population that uses Google and Apple technology, right? Because obviously that's based on a per capita kind of thing. And like in China, they use other stuff, right? And they've got so many people. So there are still going to be millions of people left out. But this particular way of stopping contagion will take a lot of pressure off, won't it? And then we can do things like we did in the old days, right? Whereby, you know, people just say, well, where did you go? Who did you see?
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to have to combine these things together, which is what we need to do anyway, right? With technology. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good spot to end on. Really, you've alleviated a lot of worries for a lot of people, I think.
Thank you. Well, it's been I've really enjoyed it because it's you know, two of my subjects that I really enjoy: e-health and technology, and the two together is just phenomenal what you can do.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, Nat.